Okay, the last part of this unit is about object-oriented programming and a little bit more in-depth into C Sharp. So what I'll do today is I'll just revise whatever you already know, and on Monday's class we will try to take up the programs which are associated with each of the concepts which we're going to discuss right now. Okay, I think I already took object-oriented programming separately in the beginning of this semester, just a revision of what we have seen. But I only discussed to you about the five keywords like object, class, methods, properties, and events. But then what we are going to discuss today is not that. This is the three pillars of object-oriented programming. I think this you would have learned a lot in theory as well as you have done practicals about this. I am just going to revise what those concepts are, and we are going to see how we are going to apply that in C Sharp. Okay, that's all we are going to target. So you know, it is the true object-oriented programming language, C Sharp. Okay, just like almost like Java, that which means all programs in C Sharp is a class, right? They're all classes, and anything you wish to represent in a C Sharp program, anything, even just a hello world, you will have to encapsulate in a class that defines the state and the behavior and all those things known as objects. So without classes, you don't have programs in Java or in C Sharp. Okay, classes create objects and objects use methods. I think this and all we have discussed already, so I'm going to just skip this part. Okay, this is object-oriented programming, and you have come across these principles of object-oriented programming, or some of them call it as pillars or the important components of object-oriented programming. Okay, I've just displayed all the three in one shot to you. Just have a glance of these three keywords. You would have come across this a lot in all programming languages. Okay, polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation. All right, some people call it as abstraction, whatever it is. We'll just see that all these three are called as the three pillars of object-oriented programming. Let's try to understand each of these words a little bit more in C Sharp point, but I think you know general definition of all these three things. So let me just go into that. Okay, so the first thing, encapsulation. In all languages, you learn this encapsulation with some people call it as data hiding, they are call it as data abstraction. Okay, however it is, you understand how to implement this and why is it required. The first thing you need to understand about any concept is why and then how to do it. So let's say what does it, or why should I use encapsulation? It provides you the ability to hide the internal details of an object from its user. Okay, that we'll understand a little bit more when you go into programs as such. Okay, but then just remember that the outside user may not be able to change the state of an object directly. Okay, it's not like you cannot access it at all. It is, when I say outside user, I'm not talking about a normal person who is using systems, but then within developers, I'm talking about a team of developers who are working on the same project. Okay, so an outside person from your module will not be able to change the state of your project's code directly. Maybe you'll have to take getters and setters or permissions through that way and then get inside. Okay, in C Sharp, it is implemented using access modifiers, just like how you have learned already in various languages. But here, little bit more difference is there. I'll point out those differences. But remember, generally, these three keywords are very famous in all the programming languages which has object-oriented: public, private, and protected. Let's get into that. It's also known as data hiding or information hiding, something like that. We can call it. We can also name it as like abstraction. Okay, if you know what is an abstract class, same idea. It just tries to hide the details of internal details of a particular class. You cannot create an object of an abstract class. Okay, just like that. You are trying to hide a few details unnecessarily. It should not be available to everybody. That's the idea. So anyway, let's move on. These are some of the keywords which are specific to C Sharp. Public, private, protected. These three words you would have heard a lot in every language. Okay, here the same logic applies. Public means the code is accessible to all classes. No restrictions on anything. It's just like public ground. Then private. This code is accessible within the same class. I have another diagram in which I'll tell you the modifiers availability. But just see this, protected. Okay, a class which is within the same class, the code which is in the same class and also inherited from that class. These two are available, then it is protected. One extra keyword here in C Sharp is the word internal. Okay, the reason why this keyword is introduced is, if you remember in the first class, we have given something like there is what do you call different languages are available. So if I create an assembly in C Sharp, if I create an assembly in VB, I can access these codes. So when you do those things, if you want code to be available only within one assembly, not in the other assembly, we say internal. Okay, the code is only accessible within its own assembly. I hope you get the word assembly. I'm repeating it again. There are two types of assemblies if you remember. One is a .exe, the other one is a .dll. .exe is a process library or process assembly, and the .dll is a library assembly. Alright, both are assembled as one block of code which will call each other. Alright, so that's the idea. So if you want to have a code which is only accessible within C#, not with any other language or any other assembly, then we use the word internal. Okay, I'll show all these in working later, but then just have a glance of this. Alright, so here, this is the table which I want you to just have a glance. Okay, it's not like you should remember or memorize this. This might be helpful for you while writing code. Okay, for theory purposes, the previous table is more than enough. But anyway, just have a glance. There are keywords on this side, and the other side, visibility, you can see containing classes, derived classes, containing assembly, anywhere outside the containing assembly. Now, please note what these four things mean. Understand what those four mean, then it will be much more clearer. Containing classes. Imagine you create a variable inside a particular class. That variable is available inside that class. True. Next, derived is if this class has been inherited from another class and the child in the parent class can share some data, derived classes. Containing assembly, which means when I write code in C#, I write a project in C#, and then I want to make the project available in a VB code which somebody else is writing. I will assemble the C# code into one. So that's the containing assembly. And the VB part, what you're saying, that is the one which is outside the containing assembly. I hope you got it. I have two projects. Let's say project A is in C#, project B is in VB. And I'm trying to create a project A which will only have the functions and functionalities and all. I write it, and then I convert it into an assembly, and then I reference it in Visual Basic so that I can call this C# code also here. In that case, that C# part, the A part, the project A is containing assembly, and project B will be anywhere outside the containing assembly. Okay, so these are the four things. If you see public, it's very simple. Yes, 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 which means all part, if you make it as public, anybody can access it. Okay, and now you see there is a combination of keywords in the second line. Protected but internal. When I say protected, classes which are in the same assembly can access it internally. When I say internally, this variable which you make it as or mark it as protected internal cannot be used by any class which is there in the outside assemblies. Only within that assembly it's available. So it's internal. Okay, plus it is protected. So everything is available except for the outside class. That's all. Look at the third one, just the keyword protected, which means that class and the class which it is derived from. Those two are, they'll be able to access it, but the entire assembly will not be able to access it. Neither the assembly which is outside. Okay, that is protected. Private, as the word means, only within that particular class. Not even a derived class can access it. Only the containing class can access it. Remaining everybody will be not allowed to access it. Now, you see the word internal. Okay, internal is available between the class and the assembly which has it, but not derived classes. The class which is available and the assembly which is contained is internal. So within that particular project, they can access it, but not derived, not through derivation, but then directly by using this classes and assembly. That's it. So these are the keywords. Please remember public, private, protected, and then you have extra two, internal and protected internal. Now, when does internal and protected internal come into picture is when your project is going to have multiple languages and you're trying to develop a project which will work with multiple languages. Okay, so if you are going to integrate this, if you are developing a plugin, all right, then I will be bothered about internal and protected internal and all those things. But rather, if you are doing a standalone application or a web application on your own, which does not depend on anything else, these keywords don't matter much except for public, private, and protected. Okay, this is one. I'll show the working in the next class, but just remember the theory part of it. Okay, the next concept is inheritance, which is pretty much very simple for you. You would have seen this in theory. I think you will be able to write that single, multiple, multi-level inheritance, all those things. Okay, same like Java, you have inheritances. There are different types. Okay, the advantage of inheritance is that you need to you can create new classes with the existing classes works or the workings of the existing class, which means you do not write every code again and again. Okay, I'll show you examples probably in the next class. Okay, but through inheritance, you can modify a class the way you want to create a new object. Okay, that we'll see. The original class, normally we call it as the base class or the parent class or something like that. And the modified one, we call it as derived class or subclass or sometimes child class. Okay, so normally we get it easier to understand with the parent class and the child class, but also we can call it as base class and derived classes. Anyway, the concept of inheritance is only meant for reusability. Okay, it's very much helpful in reusing code which is already existing. So it improves the integrity of your programs and productivity of the programmers. This is the idea of inheritance. I've just put the diagram in which I've shown different types of inheritance in C Sharp. Okay, the top part you can see different types: single, hierarchical, multi-level, but multiple is not supported through direct way, but through interfaces you can do it, just like Java. All right, so you have single, multi-level, hierarchical, multiple, but with interfaces. That is the type. Below diagram, what you see is just an example. Okay, simple inheritance from square. Okay, square is the child class, shape is a parent class. Simple inheritance, symbol and single. All right, next one is multiple. Below that, you see a person can take two different types of properties. Here the word Nancy is put then on top of that, woman and manager. There are two different classes, but Nancy is inherited from both. Okay, so she is a woman, she is a manager. So like that, it's multiple inheritance. And also multi-level. Okay, multi-level is, by the way, multiple inheritance is only possible through interfaces. Multi-level is tutor is on the top. A tutor, you can see the bottommost and the topmost. A C# tutor is also called as a computer science tutor, and in general, he belongs to the class called tutors, and goes on like this. Hierarchical, you know that so inside square you might have to, I think I'll give you a better example in the next class. But anyway, just as to remember the keywords alone: single, multiple, multi-level, hierarchical. Multiple is not possible without using interfaces. Remember that, just like Java. So if you remember that logic there, the theory there, you can write it here also. Okay, the last one is polymorphism. I hope you know what is polymorphism. You have been heard a lot of times. One name, many forms. Okay, right from the first code you write, you are using polymorphism. Just a hello world. Okay, just from starting to write a hello world onwards, you are using polymorphism. Like for example, in Java, you have println, system.out.println. That's the first line of code you write to print something in Java. In C#, it's console.writeLine. Both of these methods, println and writeLine, are overloaded methods, which means one method name you remember, println or probably writeLine, something like that. You remember only one word, but what you pass to it will take a lot of parameters. It can take a string, it can just take a number, it can take a string plus number, it can take double, float, boolean, any types. One name, but many forms. Okay, that remember that is polymorphism. Essentially, the capability of one object to behave in multiple ways. Okay, and in C# you have operation polymorphism and inclusion polymorphism. Okay, I hope you have come across the word overloading and overriding. Okay, for each of these things I'll be giving an example, and then we will continue with the program, and with that we can close the first unit. Okay, so with this I'll stop for today. I just wanted you to introduce yourself to your new website. Okay, not a new website. Most of you are already a member of it. Let me just show it. Just let me stop this screen. Okay, I guess most of you have come across this website called HackerRank. I want you to make sure that you see how this works, and better if you could register yourself, okay, in this particular website, so that you can practice. Okay, you can practice a lot in this, and there are lots of exercises, simple one to complicated, so you can do it. I'll just show you what I want you to try. Okay, whenever see, if it is not possible for me to come to a class, please do not waste time and utilize this time for that particular practice. Okay, let me just show you. This website has a lot of things. Okay, most of the recruiters also use this in order to conduct exams. Okay, coding exams. I'll just show you how this works. For those who already know, it's fine. But for those who are not familiar with this, I'm just showing this so that you can understand how it goes. Okay, there are different skill sets mentioned here. Okay, there are most of them are free, but some of them are paid. But I don't want you to go to the certification part. Let's just prepare ourselves. Okay, so just click on the practice. The first one will be practice only anyway. Okay, the other one is certification, which is I think you need to prove yourself there. Okay, then you have jobs and leaderboard and all those things are there. You can also compete with others on the same website. But anyway, let's focus on the practice part. Okay, just look at the practice, and I want you to just come down to the part where it says skills available for practice. Okay, what are the skills you would like to develop, and what would you like to uh, test and practice about a lot of programs? Okay, you can see that different types of things are there: algorithms, data structures, C, C++, Java, Python, Ruby, Linux. Okay, functional programming, databases, SQL, whatever you want. You can choose these things with respect to what skill you would like to practice. One, and also you have certain things like I just saw this. It's very good interview preparation kit. These are all free, guys, by the way. No need to pay anything. Okay, interview preparation kit, learn to code in 30 days. Okay, these are all small things. Okay, so you can just test it out. I'll just show you first thing. If you this part where you see tutorial interview preparation kit, you have a lot of things like let me just show you 1 second. There are some challenges. I hope you can see the screen. Okay, warm-up challenges are there, just simple ones, like 4 challenges are there. And then you have arrays. 70% of the companies test this subject in a particular programming languages. Arrays as well as dictionaries, string manipulation, sorting, searching, algorithms. There are lots. Okay, now I don't want you to focus on everything possible, but then there are certain things which are repeatedly asked in interviews, so just focus on them. And these are warm-up challenges. Okay, let me just go back, and you see there is one more thing there. Every day one code will get opened up. This is called 30 days of code. Okay, so every day they'll give you a simple program. You'll have to submit it, and you can continue like this. Day 0, hello world. Then data types. You can just every day one challenge will get unlocked. Okay, so just try this, and let me just go back to what I want you to try. This is every day only one will be allowed. So just try this once, the learn to code in 30 days. That you try, and then here in skills available for practice, if you would like to make sure that you are expertised in one particular language, you choose one language out of that C, C++, Java, or sometimes Python. Okay, but I want you to make sure that you learn not only Python. Okay, don't get yourself into only Python because it's a scripting language. Okay, not all companies interviews are Python is allowed. So let's just revise in Python also. If you could write the code in Python, the logic is still available in every other language. Maybe the syntax is smaller in Python, but the logic is not smaller. I hope you follow. All right. So anyway, I want you to just start with algorithms. Just choose algorithms. You'll understand what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter which language you want to choose here. If you choose these, you will have to specifically be in one language. But if you choose algorithms, okay, the first skill which is available for you to practice. Okay, here you have 2 tabs, algorithms and data structures. Let me just start with algorithms. See here. Okay, so there'll be easy tests first, and as you go out, it'll keep on changing, or this one will go higher. Okay, so all I want you to do is just say, for example, take a particular program. Let's click on solve challenge, and you will see that they'll be giving you a simple problem. Okay, starting with the simplest one first. For example, this problem, you will have to read the statement properly. They will explain the question as much as possible. Okay, if you see this question, the first one alone, I'm taking a simple one so that you understand how the website works. I'm not going to sit and solve each and every problem, but this is a simple one. First one, solve me first. Complete the function solve me first to compute the sum of 2 integers, which is a simple program to solve where you add 2 numbers. That's all. Okay, so they have given sample input. What is the expected output? Like this, for every program, they'll give you an input and they'll expect an output. So if you scroll down, you see that at the bottom part, you have the coding arena. Okay, so this is the playground in which you can code. Here you see that there is something called change theme. Right next to that, there is a drop down of the the programming language. Okay, so which language would you like to choose? So if I just open it, you see that from a basic language to almost all languages you would have come across is available there. Okay, so starting even VB.NET is still there. Okay, so you can see that there are a lot of languages available, and let me just choose C# for now. Okay, since we are learning C#, we can just practice it in C# also. If you are not comfortable, you can choose Java or any other language, but I recommend C# because I'm teaching it right now. Okay, but anyway, see here. This is the C# code which is available here in the IDE. So all they have asked here is they have written a method, public static void main or static void main, convert dot to int 32. Yesterday we did this, okay, and console dot read line. We took all these things and already they have written the method here. Int sum is equal to solve me first. You have to pass these two values to this particular method and it will be printing out the output. So all I need to type here is to type return A plus B. That's my syntax. That doesn't matter which language I'm writing, but still this is the same. So let me just come out, and you see at the bottom you have run code and submit code, just like how you would have found in most of the websites. Guys, I hope you can see the screen. Can anybody respond? Yes, okay, thank you. All right, so let me just click on run code, and what happens is it just checks within the background. In the background, it checks whether the code is right or not, and they create sample test cases. You can see that the sample test case is passed. Okay, so it just tests with different numbers for you to check whether the program is right or wrong. So let me just submit the code, and it will check all the test cases, and if it is successful, you are given to them. You'll be given the next problem. Okay, here you have solved this challenge. Okay, so now you can go to the next challenge. Okay, so the next challenge, simple array sum. What they have asked is we'll be giving an input of 6 numbers, or see, first question is, please note the question is very elaborate here. Okay, very elaborate in the sense they have given an array of integers, find the sum of its element. This is the question. But how they have explained is with example, the functional description, how the input will be given, what are the constraints, how the output should come, what is the sample input, sample output, and then explanation. So they have given everything possible for you to understand the problem statement first. Once you have understood the problem statement, then you can go inside and choose a language and then apply that. You can write the code there and you can execute it there itself. You need not give input. Input will be given by HackerRank itself to check all your outputs. So you can take this and test it in your Visual Studio also, or in an environment where you are comfortable. Okay, but I want you to practice this, guys. Just try to practice it. Do not waste time. I think you can have this as a practice. Okay, so it's like warm-up sessions in algorithms. So you can go to practice, and in practice you have algorithms. Okay, in algorithms you can start with the basic one like solve me first, and then you can go on with all other things. Okay, say for example the ones which you have solved will be ticked and kept here. Remaining you can keep adding whatever is required next will be kept on top, so that you can keep on solving them. Okay, and once you finish you can go to the next level. Okay, so they give you different problems, most of which are asked in interviews. Okay, please note none of these questions are like not all the basic questions are asked, but say as you move in problem solving, you will find a lot of problems are taken from here in interviews and stuff. Okay, so you have enough time. There's no time limit here, so you can the only target they have kept is that you have to solve that problem and make sure that all test cases are passing. Okay, please note some of us have that habit of making sure that whatever input they have given, if I print the output, it is done. But please note when they check for other test cases, it might fail. I hope you know what's a test case. Okay, so better always practice with some online platform like this, because I think mostly anymore online platforms will become the standard for interviews. Okay, so let's take this opportunity and read through all the problems which are available and try to understand, because more than this clearly I don't think so any program would be explained. Okay, every program you take, any program you take, they'll be giving a big explanation first. Okay, see, they have given a big explanation, example, the description, what they expect in return, what is the input. Actually, the code is smaller than the question. The question is so big, which means they are explaining all features with sample inputs and sample outputs, and they have explained how each and every output is coming. So I guess this website would be better because this is free also. You need not pay or anything. You just need to register with your email address and keep it. Okay, so is it possible for you guys to create an account in this website and try to do this, guys? I think we can. I'll be taking some of the problems from here and giving it as an assignment for you guys, so that you can solve it and then give me a screenshot of your output and the test cases and stuff. Okay, so please keep this, get used to it, because I might suddenly pick up a random challenge which is available and pass it as an assignment to you guys, or practice program for you guys. Okay, so it will be from this website only, because there is lots of questions. I've checked through a lot of questions, and almost everything is doable if you understand what they are expecting from you. So the first trick is to understand the question, then start writing the thing. You need not even use the ID which is given here. This is just a code. You can just copy paste it. For example, if I choose Python, you can see what will happen to the code. The code is something like this. Okay, they have given you a few code already there. They just wanted remaining code you have to finish. For example, this is a Python method which is given here. Okay, this part you need not change. The one which if name equal to main, that part you need not change. You need to write a function here. Define a function which is there, compare triplets, and they've given two inputs. Your code will be just returning true or false based on whether it is same or not, or something like that. Okay, so that's it. So this is the question which is asked, and maybe based on the language, the template might change. It is not compulsory for you to type it here, because if you type it here, there will not be any suggestions much. Okay, so you can copy this code, put it in your IDE, fix it, finish it, and then copy paste it back here. And before submitting, run the code. If run code gives you test cases, two test cases will be tested first. If they both are fine, then you can submit the code. Otherwise, when you submit the code, if any one test case fails also, they will tell you this test case failed. And in order to know the test case, what it is, you need to earn hackos. Okay, that's like a currency which is there. When you solve problems here, you get hackos getting added to your profile. And for every test case to reveal what was the problem, I think you have to give 5 hackos. So as much as you practice and you have much hackos, then you can solve lots more problem. Okay. So get used to this website, guys. I think we will utilize it to the max. Okay, language doesn't matter for your interview preparation. Since I am teaching C# and I'm giving this as a C# assignment, I'll be expecting you to do the programs what I am giving in C#, but what you're practicing, you can use whatever language you like. Okay, so for your practice, you can prefer Java or Python or C or C++, anything. Okay, but please prefer to choose from the major languages which the companies give: C, C++, Java or Python. Okay, I'll keep that as on hold in Python, because if some companies allow, you can obviously go for it, but practice in both. Okay, just because you can do a program in Python doesn't mean that you cannot do that in Java. Maybe the same syntax you cannot do it, but with the same logic you can do it. Okay, so please try this and let me know if you have any clarification with respect to this website. Okay, so I think with this we will stop for today, guys. I think I'll give you a little bit more time for questions. If you have any questions, please do ask.